Hey folks, it's your pal Mike Shea from slyflourish.com and twitter.com/slyflourish, here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy D&D Prep. This is a weekly show shot 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Times in which I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my D&D game. In this case, I am running a homebrew Eberron campaign that I'm calling the Second Mourning. This show, like all of the work here at Sly Flourish, is thanks to the supporters of Sly Flourish, the patrons of Sly Flourish, at patreon.com/slyflourish. If you want to help me keep shows like this going and keep the website going and help pay for the bandwidth costs and all of the other odds and ends, the cost of equipment and all that kind of stuff, you can help out by supporting Sly Flourish on Patreon at patreon.com/slyflourish. You'll get access to a monthly newsletter that shows all of the different things we've made here at Sly Flourish. You will also get access to a exclusive adventure called Regnum Ratus, The Rats in the Cellar, and you'll get access to a dedicated Patreon channel, a dedicated channel on Discord just for patrons of Sly Flourish. And little odds and ends too. You get access to all of my campaign notebooks and things like that I'm keeping here in Notion. And I have some plans for things that I'd like to do in the future too. So there's but most of all, beyond all the stuff you get for backing me on for becoming a patron of Sly Flourish, you are helping everyone else get the kind of stuff that I'm producing here. So thank you very much to those of you who are, in fact, patrons of Sly Flourish. So yes, what have we done? So much. So last week, my group was going through a dungeon, kind of. It was the crypts of one of the noble houses, House Civis, I think it was. Oh man, I should know this stuff, right? I'm running games. I should know what's going on in them. Let's take a look at our notes from last week. We'll go down to, okay, so one question. What is this crazy thing over here on the left? This is Notion. Notion is a web-based digital notebook where you can store all kinds of stuff. It's sort of like OneNote. It has a couple of features that I kind of prefer over OneNote, so I'm using it over OneNote. If you're using OneNote, OneNote is very cool. I actually like OneNote a lot. I built a prototype version of this in OneNote just to see if it could be done, and it can, and it's really cool. But there's little like stupid things that I'm like, I don't like in OneNote. One feature that OneNote has over Notion that makes it superior, it's a pretty big thing, is that you can run OneNote offline and you cannot run Notion offline. And that's a real problem if you ask me. So that's something I don't know if I would have been as eager to use Notion as I am now, knowing that you couldn't use it offline. The good news is all of my games are online, which means I'm online if I'm playing D&D, period. So there's almost no period in my life where I'm not online. But I would sure like to have the option to run it offline. It's something Notion's working on, and but they've been working on it for a long time. I don't have it yet, so we'll see. If that became a problem, I would probably switch over to OneNote. And who knows, maybe one day I will. But right now I'm using Notion. Notion.so is the URL. I have a couple other videos, and I posted an article on slyflourish.com about how to use Notion. So let's take a look at that. I think I just posted it this week. Yeah, using Notion for lazy D&D campaign planning. I will paste it in the Twitch channel for those of you who are in Twitch. It will also be linked in the show notes on YouTube if you want to take a look at it there. And this is a big guide about how I use Notion for doing lazy DM campaign planning, which includes the lazy DM Notion campaign template, which is right over here. If I go in here, this right here is the lazy template. This is what you would get if you move it over, and you can see all your stuff. You've got characters, and you've got villains. You've got all kinds of stuff in here. This is all set up. All you have to do is duplicate this, and then you have your own notebook. Hey, my mom is here. Everybody wish my mom a happy birthday. It was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Mom. Thank you for coming, hanging out and talk about D&D. So yeah, you can duplicate the lazy campaign template and make your own campaign notebook, and then tune it the way you like it, and then copy that one, duplicate that one, and then you have one that you use for your dedicated campaign. So it's a real handy thing. And I really like, that's a feature of Notion I don't know if you can really do in OneNote. I don't know if you could just say, here's a whole OneNote template. Somebody who uses OneNote, I would love to know if you can create like a OneNote template and then say, everybody use this template. But Notion has some really great features that I really like. Notion was one of those tools that I used where it was a delight to use it. It was fun to find new things that it could do. Very rarely did I struggle with something that I just couldn't figure out. It had the fewest number of problems where I was like, oh, what a pain. Like one thing I don't like in OneNote, not to sit here complaining about OneNote the whole time, but like on a mobile, so OneNote puts everything in paragraphs, and the paragraph has a horizontal size. So you can grab the bar and kind of, that way you can place like a bunch of paragraphs on a page anywhere you want. But then when you view them on mobile, it adds a horizontal scroll to every page. So you got this, sometimes your text will be off the edge of the screen, you got to scroll, which means, and you can't change the size on your phone. You instead have to go onto the web version or the local version and then narrow it down to roughly phone sized, and then it looks okay. And that's just weird. The idea, Microsoft has a fascination with how things look on a screen. And they want to sort of, instead of being flexible for different screens and offering flexibility by, you know, things like Markdown and HTML, they use fonts and fixed font sizes and fixed font point sizes. Well, guess what? Looking at a 12-point Calibri font on a screen that's, you know, 20 inches big isn't the same as looking at one that's 5 inches big. And it doesn't flex well. So anyway, because of its focus on Markdown and HTML, I really like Notion. I'm really happy with it. And it's got a lot of cool features. So if you wonder what I'm using here, it's Notion. So look at old adventures, because I was trying to figure out. So I have my list of, man, it bugs me that this one isn't named the same way as everything else. So it's date Sunday Eberron. Okay, so we're going to rename this to 3 June 2020 Sunday Eberron. Wednesday Eberron. All right, and that way they all look the same, because it drives me crazy when they don't look the same. Right? Yay, they all look the same now. I'm so happy. So we go to our last Sunday game. So this is the old adventures archive, right? And this one has all the notes for all previous adventures. And we're going to look at 5 June 2020, which was last week. And they went to lots of secrets here. So which secrets did they learn? That'd be a cool one to go through. House Civis was the name of the house that they went to. So that's cool. And what did they learn there? So did they learn that Leto Skal is leaving? No, they did not. So that's important. Z's father, Vista, had the word to unlock the dodecahedron. We did learn that. It's actually changed from that. Lord Crash wants the word so you can use it to get into Leto Skal to trade with him. That didn't come out, but Lord Crash is dead, so it doesn't really matter now. Lord Crash is Shift's brother. Yes, we learned that. Lord Crash's mother is Lady O'Mara. Yes. We learned that. The Drum is led by the daughters of Sorakal, and they have their own massive dragon shard. No, that didn't learn that. The dodecahedron is a compass for Claw Rift. We did learn that. Claw Rift is the central tower in the center of a ruined city of Making and the Glass Plateau. I think they learned that. I don't know. We probably would do that again. The dodecahedron can only be used in Karshak the Lightning Rail. They did not learn that. These are some good secrets, by the way, that I need to throw in the new one. Zarentir's father is working with Leto Skal. Zarentir's father is working with Leto Skal as an Aura member. No, we don't know that. So anyway, they were in the House Civis tombs, and they were facing off against Lord Crash, the head of the Emerald Claw in Sharn. Lord Crash has been on the defensive. You know, he's one of the groups. The Emerald Claw is one of the groups that's trying to get the Weapon of Mourning. The database linking and tags help a lot in Notion. Yeah, the database, I use database cards a lot in Notion. It works really well. Lord Crash wanted to get the Weapon of Mourning himself. So if you want to know like what the Weapon of Mourning is, you could just basically think of it like a nuclear bomb. Everyone's trying to get the bomb. This whole campaign is a very Cold War campaign, right? Different groups are all trying to get it, and the groups are coming up. And you've got independent actors like the Emerald Claw and Leto Skal, and then you have state actors like the Droam and Breland and other groups that are also trying to get it. So that hasn't really come up, that the state actors are trying to get a hold of you know, the Weapon of Mourning, but they're there. Droam in particular is going to be a big one. So the Emerald Claw was hoping to use it to blow up Sharn, but they never got anything that they needed. They never got the Tome of Kolsir, which is the book of spells that enables one to activate the bomb. They never got the giant Eberron shard that was going to blow up. Leto Skal probably lied to them and said he was going to give it to him, and then, you know, ooh, that's a good secret. Man, I need to, you know, hang on a sec. Let me keep these, and then we'll add these to some secrets. So I need to create a new template for today. So we go to our session planning template, and we go to duplicate. And we drag it up to the top because it's today's notes, and we'll open it. And today is the 12th. We give it a nice title. This template that I just created is the actual session notes for the day, and it links to a lot of the other stuff inside the notebook. So, for example, when we review the character, we'll review the characters in a minute, but I got secrets in my head that need to come out. But it has all the 8 steps. These are all the 8 steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master sitting right in here. So what was that secret? That Lord Lido Skull, and we use the @ sign to link to cards. Lido Skull lied to Lord Crash, told him that he would give him massive Lido Skull lied to Lord Crash and told him that he would give him they would give Crash the massive Eberron shard that he had, and that is one of the ways that the two of them work. So that's an interesting way that this worked out. What else? So we now know that Lady Ilamaro is the mother of the pseudo mother, the creator of Shift. That Shift has undead pieces in her. She's a mixture of Warforged and undead, and the undead pieces came from Kenneth, or not Kenneth, from what they call Karnath, the nation of Karnath, as a treaty between Breland and Karnath. They were trying to figure out if they could build a mixture of Warforged and undead people, and they made 2, and they stopped making them, and the 2 were Shift and Crash were the 2, and they are brother and sister. Crash is now dead. Shift killed Crash, and now Crash is dead. However, Crash's personality lies in a sliver of imprinted kyber crystal. So, and I think that that could be the kyber crystal could be drawn into lack. Can be drawn into lack. What is lack? Lack is a sentient crystal ball of malevolence that's formed from the dreaming dark in the world of Dalcor. Man, I'm getting good at the Eberron lore. I can spit all that out of the top of my head. I really dig Eberron. Like, I could definitely, you know, I kind of envision these like parallel universes where I'm running different kinds of games. In one parallel universe, I'm playing Numenera all the time, and I love it. And you know, I've long since thrown away D&D, and I'm just all about the ninth world, running Eberron or running Numenera because I love Numenera, but I don't get a chance to play it. In another dark and twisted world, a world that's on fire with murder in the streets. Not so far from where I got. I'm playing nothing but Shadow of the Demon Lord all the time, and I'm wearing, like, my hair's dyed black, and I'm very angry all the time, listening to a lot of, you know, dark, what do they call it, black metal. And then in this world, I'm running my D&D games, very happy. And then, but then there's another world where, like, fork off from here, where I want to become like an Eberron Lord dude, and I'm gonna go off. And one of the things I'm really excited about, talking about Eberron lore, is a book that Keith Baker. So Keith Baker is the original author of Eberron. He's the original creator of Eberron, and he was a co-author on the most recent book. But he also had a lot of stuff about Eberron that wasn't in that book. And he is putting a new book out called Exploring Eberron that will be available on the DMs Guild. It may be the biggest DMs Guild product ever. The long-awaited Exploring Eberron. He's been working on it a long time, but it's coming out this month. And I think what he said is that I think he said that he's it's already with the guild, and they're just getting it, like, wired into the DMs Guild. So it could be any time. I did ask him for a preview copy, and he did say that he might be able to send one my way. So I'm hoping. I told him, like, I'm buying it no matter what. Like, I'll buy both copies. So I think because I want it for free. It's because I want it early. Because I want it right now. I'm running Eberron right now, and I want to use more lore. Because I feel like one of the things I did is I really, I've got the Eberron book right here, with my fancy collector cover. And I'm really trying to squeeze, like, every ounce out of that book that I can. I'm running it in the places that it's where the book focused. And I don't feel like I'm hitting the end exactly, but I feel like the end is in sight, where like eventually I'm going to have thrown out every little bit of lore about Eberron that I could have. And I need another book with more stuff. I could definitely go back to the old books and do it, but I kind of want, something that knows what this book has and sort of builds off of that. And I think, I think that will have it. So, there's a podcast called The Manifest Zone, says He's Not Your Problem. I haven't checked that out. It might be a cool Eberron lore podcast. It'd be very cool. So I could definitely see like a world where I just play Eberron all the time, right? Where it's like Eberron is a kind of a neat, fresh fantasy setting. It's different than all your traditional fantasy settings. It's built on popular fiction rather than historical fiction. The way it handles a lot of things is pretty great. So I really dig it, and I could see kind of getting into it a lot and just building. I go in the Lazar. I ran a campaign in the Lazar Principalities. You could have a whole Zendrek campaign. You could have a whole Argonessan campaign. There's all, like every continent, you could have like a big campaign. So very cool. So the crystal imprint can be drawn into lack or into shifts, or into shift directly. So Lord Crash is dead, but his memories and his personality are implanted on a Kyber crystal, and that crystal could either be like you can show the crystal to Lack, and Lack will kind of draw it in and build an imprint, and that's pretty safe because Lack is way more powerful than Lord Crash is. Another alternative is taking it and implanting it into Shift, so that Shift now has Lord Crash's personality. The trick there is that Shift and Crash are siblings. Crash could potentially take over. Right? Probably not. I don't think I'd do that, but there's a potential that like it's risky, right? And Crash could try to at the right moment sort of slam a like a psychic attack on Shift and try to take over to set off a bomb or do something terrible. So that could be a really kind of fun thing. What else? Lido Skal is leaving aboard the... Oh, and we had a name for the ship. Oh, what was the name? Let's go to it. Let's bring up another notebook here. That way I have sort of a separate one. So locations. I think we had an airship. Man, this is why this... I'm trying to get the... So we decided that if we do small... small icons, it works better, right? So click on here and we say properties, and we do card size small. There we go. Look at that. Now I got multiple ones per column. So there is an airship. The Gold Bright is the airship of the Night Sky. Perfect. Look at that thing. That thing's awesome. Thank you, Snark Knight. You posted in there, but I was already thinking about it. The Night Sky and roaring into the Mournland. The Mournland obeys no standards for navigation. There's no way to map it. And you'll often fly in and find yourself somewhere completely different. So what that means is if Lord Crash makes it to, reminiscent of Avernus, it's not mappable. Exactly. And there's a it's kind of a little secret plot reason, which is I sort of want to separate Ludo Skal from the group if he makes it there, and then that way they know they have to have, you can't just fly in and chase him the whole time and go right to the place. There's tricky bits about finding their way, they're finding their way to the glass plateau. Only Karshak the lightning rail can travel to making in the glass plateau, and only with the compass that Chi has. What else? Oh, I think so. One thing that happened in the last game is that Chi's father, Lord Crash had drawn the word out of Chi's father, and then destroyed the skull that he got it from. And I think it's drawn, and I think they're thinking of like using a Speak with Dead, but I think like the word is the word's not there anymore. That part of the necromancy. Only, so this is kind of a fun bit, right? Only Lord Crash. You make things hard for people, right? On purpose. Only Lord Crash knows the word to open the dodecahedron, open cheese. I can't spell dodecahedron. Oh, I'm terrible. That's how you spell it. And yeah, I guess it's dodecahedron. How's that misspelled? This thing doesn't know how to spell dodecahedron either. So now they got to kind of negotiate with Lord Crash, right? So what does Lord Crash want? Lord Crash says, I will only give you the dodecahedron. I will only give you the word if you imprint me in shift. Is that right? Because he's thinking like I don't know. I guess, yeah, I guess either way they're going to get the word from Lord Crash. Snark Knight says, I respect finding a way to make sure the train encounter happens. Yeah, it's a little railroady, but I don't know, whatever. It's far enough and fuzzy enough that it doesn't matter. Like I don't know. It's not the end of the world. What else? So, oh, I like the one that who's the character? Think characters, Sunday characters. Why don't we review the characters since we're over here? Go away, menu. So our character, Zarentir. So Zarentir Delander is a son of a silver ring wearing member of the Aurum, who is also working with Leto Skal and has the Goldbright airship. And Zarentir stole the keys to the Goldbright airship. So one of the things I want to do today is find airship maps. Zarentir's, yeah, so that's kind of a secret, right? Let's drop that in there. Zarentir's father is working with Leto Skal. Sure, doing a lot of linking. I don't know if you need to do this much linking. To make the Aurum an all-powerful nation state. He wants to turn the Aurum into a nation by giving them a weapon. That's what... So Leto just lies to everybody, right? He's lying. And which one's true, who knows? He lied to the Droam, saying that he would get the weapon on behalf of the Droam. Every noun is a link, I guess. Yeah. He is... So he lied to the Emerald Claw, saying, I'll get you the weapon and you can blow up Sharn. He lied to the Aurum by saying, I'm going to get you the weapon so that you guys can become a nation state. He lied to the Droam, saying the exact same thing. And who knows what he actually wants to do. He probably just wants it for himself, right? He's like, I'll just be a powerful guy on my own. Yeah, the Aurum says that, but they don't want to run schools and healthcare. That's really true. They'll more become like the Illuminati, right? They'll want to control everything, and they'll have a weapon that means they're unstoppable. They can do what they want, and they can leave healthcare to the bureaucrats, and then they'll just do fun things. I don't know. Good secrets today. So what other? Since I'm here, hey, Think DM is here. Hi, Think DM. What other? What other secrets do we have? It's always the final 3 secrets. They're always the big ones. So let's go back to our characters since we're reviewing the characters. Saber. Oh yeah, see, I got one. As soon as I look at Saber. So Saber is a monk of the Four Winds and is a member of a shifter group of monks that are the monks of the Four Winds. They're out of what location? From the Eldine Reaches, and they are trying to fulfill the draconic prophecy. I don't know what that means yet or how that works, but I like the idea that the Order of the Four Winds has a monastery that exists in Dalcor, a dream state. So that's a cool one. What else? Crom laughs at your Four Winds. I don't need the dodecahedron spelling anymore. So that, yeah, let's go back to the characters. So I don't know what's going on with that, and I'd like to have an NPC. I'd like to make an NPC, another shifter monk who's like the, you know, the sensei of this monastery, the teacher of this monastery, and can kind of guide, you know, follower of Balinor, and can guide Saber. So we'll have to think about that. Get rid of that too. That when I go into NPCs, that might be something to work on today. We'll bookmark that in the NPCs. My review of the NPCs template is not great. Like, yeah, I know to review the NPCs, but this needs to be a list item. I should fix this in the template. Turn into bulleted list. So that goes. Even Steven says, "Hi Sly, I'm new to your chat, but not your videos. I've purchased and used Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. Great success. Yay, thank you. And a lot of inspiration for my game of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Great. I don't know if you saw the articles I wrote about Waterdeep Dragon Heist, but I wrote a whole bunch of articles about Waterdeep Dragon Heist if you are interested over on Sly Flourish. If you go to Sly Flourish and start here and then scroll to the bottom, there's a bunch of lists of adventure write-ups, and one of them was Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which I talked a lot about on this show. I have lots of thoughts about it. And it's a good adventure. It's fun. So yeah, there's a lot of things, but there's a lot of fun ways to run it. So thank you. I'm glad it worked for you. Yeah, so I want to do Saber's teacher. So what else? Do we have any other? Let's finish our characters. Sometimes when you're reviewing the characters, it results in secrets. That works out. Boy, a lot about Shift. You know, I think I talked about Shift already. Shane Husk. Is there any kind of fun Shane Husk stuff? I still like the idea that Shane Husk's ancestor, who was once a ruler in Old Sharn. You know, I think that could be cool. Shane Husk already has a lot going on with the whole author stuff, but that can work. So we'll put that in there. So Shane Husk is a novelist, well, hobgoblin wizard novelist. And also apparently an heir to a goblin empire. And Banner is a warforged follower of the Becoming God, and works with a group called the Godforged, who are looking to try to build a god. I think that, let's see, Karshak is a warforged and is worshipped by followers, by a sect of the Godforged, who thinks he is a god. They are a god. Yeah, so this follows that Blame the Mono thing. So I'm reading a lot of Dark Tower these days. Love it. I was actually just listening to the audiobook of the final book. I've read 8 books now. It's my 3rd time through. and love that series. And so Karshak the Lightning Rail is built directly off of Blaine the Mono from Wastelands. And yeah, RSR says Karshak is the crazy train you wanted earlier. Yeah, so it's a Warforged rail that has, you know, is super, super smart and also insane. And or, you know, and I don't know what it wants. I think it probably wants destruction of the world too, right? It's like the you know, and I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, but I like the idea. There is a group of in the Stephen King story, there's a city called Lud, which is kind of what I'm going to build. I think it's Methus. So this is probably a secret. I got an extra secret today. Which one? I always get the towns mixed up. There's 2 cities. And Karshak the Lightning Rail is in Metrol. So Metrol, so I think I should put that Karshak is, oh look, I don't even have notes. In Metrol. There was it had a mate. It had another rail that was built at the same time. I'm not sure what it's called though. I need a cool name. I guess I'll go to my names. I can always get a cool name. A cool name for the mate of Karshak. Let's see if any of these jump out at me. Fixero. Mycenta. That's pretty cool. And Mycenta was destroyed. And ever since Mycenta was destroyed, Karshak has been in mourning and suicidal. But it also maybe has a piece. God, man. Some days the fingers ain't working. So Karshak has a piece of the Draconic Prophecy in their mind. And it's driven them mad. Could be kind of a fun bit. So, oops, I guess I'll go over here. So I don't really, Karshak is located in Metrol. It was, Karshak Lightning Rail is located in Metrol, and Metrol is basically like a war zone now. Between all kinds of different, the Lord of Blades is there. The Emerald Claw is there. Cultists. And the Cult of the Dragon Below. And I think probably independent of the Dask. So, boy, we can fill Metrol with all kinds of stuff. I suppose that's a secret. That's a secret, and I probably should grab that and put it in the locations for Metrol. So I'm building things out, right? You can see that, like, I'm starting to, expand beyond, because we're going to hit a new, I gotta put it here, I guess. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Just delete. Yeah, so I'm starting to expand it out, and I know that they're going to be heading into the Mournlands sometime, and I want to sort of lay the foundation for that. I think a lot of prepping a D&D game is thinking too. This is a thought I've had for a while now. and maybe it's an article I should write about, thinking 2 horizons out. You want to think as far as the characters can see, and then basically 1 horizon out from there. So you want to be just 1 full step out from wherever the characters are going, which if you think about it mathematically, if you imagine it's like a circle, bang, well, going 1 horizon out, the area that you have to fill out if you go 1 horizon out is pretty big. I think I've seen something where people were talking about like building a couple hexes out, like building 3 hexes out, that essentially you have whatever in the hex that the characters are in, and then all the hexes that are around. And that kind of is not a bad way of thinking. Like, but I think a hex has like 6 points, right? So in theory, imagine you were thinking about it hex as a hex, you need to know everything that in the hex that the characters are in now. That's like your main city that they're in and what's around there. But if you go 1 hex out, that's 6 additional hexes you got to fill out, because you don't know which one of the 6 ways are going to go. And that can be quite a bit. So I think people were talking about 3, hexagons have 20 sides. I don't think that's right. I think a hex has 6 sides, right? Somebody help me with that. So, so I think the idea of like 3 hexes out, you don't have to know what's on all sides, but you want to have 3 sides that the characters could go. Hex equals 6, yeah. So, it's not all horizon. If you think about it literally, it's not a 360-degree horizon. Oh, Major Victory says he's kidding. You threw me off there, man. It's early. So I think the idea of like knowing the 3 area, and this follows that like the rule of 3 and the 3 plus infinite options. That was another thing I've talked about on Sly Flourish before. Like whenever the characters sort of are at a point where they can, sort of go different directions in a sandboxy world, I think a good way of treating a sandbox is to have what I call 3 plus infinite options. And that's 3 options that you provide, 3 major places. You can go here, here, or here, or anything else that you guys decide. And then the players have the option of saying, there was that other place that we hadn't really investigated yet. And there wasn't one of these 3. Maybe we want to check those. So, 3 options is small enough that you can usually get consensus about where to go, but then you don't want to limit them either. So that idea of thinking 1 horizon out or 2 horizons out, you think about where they are now, what's going on right away, but then you also think like, what are the 3 possible directions they could be heading into the future? Am I prepared enough to at least offer the option for that? And then when you break that down into actually building an adventure, building a session of your game, you say, I need everything that's going to happen in today's session. And then ideally at the end of the session, I want to say, what are the possible 3 options that here are some paths that you guys can take. At that point. Now, you don't always have that where like they've made a choice about the way things are going to go, and they're going to go that way. And sometimes you railroad them. Today, I'm going to be doing a little bit of railroading, I think. And let's talk about that right now when I go to scenes. So I'm good on secrets. Secrets are the hard part, and I got the secrets. But I got some other tricky things that I'm going to do today. So the strong start is Karshak's. I keep doing, or not Crash. Lord Crash's Kyber crystal. Where do you put it? The word for the dodecahedron. Oh, I didn't. Is only in Crash's memory. So that's kind of the strong start. They're in the place, they're down underground, they can decide what to do, and then where do they go? So the scenes are Lord Crash's memory. So I don't really have like a strong start from like the other ones of like something blows up. I think they go back to I think they go back to their curio shop. So what's the name of the curio shop? I suck. I have too many adventures in my head these days. You know, I've run 4 D&D games in 4 days. Today's my 4th day running a D&D game straight. It's not Blood Like Ice. Cafe Obscura. And Cavella's there. So there's all the news about what happened when they returned. And by the way, Leto Skal is leaving. And I'm not going after him. Maybe they can offer... I don't know if they can offer anything, but I think they've lost enough and they have to go underground. So the Goldbright heist is up, and then the Goldbright versus Knights. Goldbright and so this is going to be probably a couple of sessions, I expect, of the Goldbright versus the Night Sky. And then we get into Act 2. So yeah. So this is big. So what's going to happen is they're going to start off. They got to figure out what to do with Lord Crash's memory. Do they give it to? Do they put it inside Shift or do they put it inside Lack? Then they return to the Cafe Obscura. Cavella tells them all about what happened in the war between Valentine Flame Touched, who's still alive, and Valentine Flame Touched and Triss, who was killed, and that the book is gone, and that now Leto Skal has both the book and the crystal, and he's leaving town. He's getting out of Sharn. But he does not know the location of the Glass Plateau, so he can't get to the place to actually do all of this yet. That's what he's going to be working on that off screen, I think, for a while. But if they want to stop him, they can grab the Goldbright, steal the Goldbright and chase the Night Sky, and maybe stop him. And they might actually stop him. They might. It's not a foregone conclusion that that he gets away. Instead, the foregone conclusion, either they could stop him, they could destroy the airship, they could blow it up and or do something, or steal the crystal or whatever, and stop Leto Skal, or Leto Skal's going to get away, right? And I would probably give it 4/5 likelihood that they'll stop him somehow. Smart players are smart and they'll figure a way out. I doubt he'll just completely get away in the Night Sky. But it's also possible that they don't get the Goldbright in time and they're not able to catch up, and then he disappears in the Mournland. So those are options. I think that there's time for some side quests. They really want to go down into Old Sharn, and I don't want to push that aside. So that could be. So location-wise, we have the Goldbright. We have Night Sky. Night Sky. How do you deal with foregone conclusions? Do you put any in? I try not to. I don't. So I'm working really hard with this campaign. Campaign's been going on. I don't know how many weeks it's been going on. Long time. And I'm trying really hard to go with the idea of there are situations that exist, and then there are villains that are chasing these situations, or actors who are chasing these situations, and then the characters are getting involved and doing things. And all of these things relate. So I think the week before last, or was it last week? No, it was week before last. On this very show, I had a off-screen battle between Leto Skal and the Dask. And it was a big street fight between the two that culminated in who was going to have the Tome of Kolsir, a book of dark magic that the giants had, that they got from from Dalcor, the dreaming world, and from the dragon magic. So it's like 3 types of magic all in there. That probably was the magic that you would need to fuel a weapon as powerful as the Weapon of Mourning. And the book was in the possession of a Dask courier, and Leto Skull was sending his guys to go find it. And I rolled dice on this table to figure out who won. And I would change the story based on that die roll. And I did. And it was fun to figure out that like the whole story, the like massive pivot in the whole story occurs because of a die roll. And that's sort of a way to ensure that I am not pushing a single story. The story is happening. The story is evolving. And all I know are what the characters are doing. So in this circumstance, I know I have a general idea, but I don't prep too far, right? I have a general idea that what would happen if Leto Skull gets away with the book and the crystal. Like, that's a big deal. He still doesn't have the third leg that he needs, which is the location. And the characters probably will. But they could stop him. And if they do, then Leto Skull, they'll probably kill him, or he gets away or something. I don't know. But if they stop him, that's another angle on the story. And the story changes at that point. Different groups are going to be at play. Likewise, if the Dask had gotten a hold of something, that would change things, right? Like if they had won and the book went to the daughters of Sorakel, well, now the Drogon becomes another problem. So there's always ways to shift it around. But I think an important thing about not drawing foregone conclusions is that you don't want it to be all or nothing. I talked about like the all or nothing collection quest, and the idea is like a very common scenario. Think about like Harry Potter and the what are they called? The Horcruxes, right? That like you don't want to have a situation. If you imagine that story and imagine you're running that as a D&D campaign, and you have to go hunt down the 7 phylacteries of a very powerful lich. Well, is the story over if they only get 1, right? Like if or do they have to get all 7? And the hard part is like, what if they only get 5, right? Like what if, what if Voldemort said, you know what, I'm going to go to a small cave with Nagini, and I'm going to teleport Nagini to France, right? Into a little vault in France full of mice. And I'm going to leave Nagini in there for, a few weeks. And then I'm going to go back to Hogwarts, and I'm going to go beat the crap out of everybody there, right? And they're not going to be able to kill me because I got Nagini hidden away, right? So it was really convenient that Nagini happened to be there at the fight, Mike, no one can leave Britain. You don't want to have a situation where you have to have all or nothing. You want to, it works better. Like I ran a Dark Sun. I figured this out a long time ago when I was running a Dark Sun campaign, and they were trying to resurrect Callus, the dragon, the dragon sorcerer, very powerful dragon sorcerer. It's like a ruler over the city of Tyr, I think. And the cult of Callus was trying to bring him back, and the party was trying to stop the cult from bringing him back. And the result was like there was a whole bunch of artifacts that they were trying to collect in order to resurrect Callus, but there were lots of them, and they only needed so many to be able to do it. And there were certain ones that they preferred over others, and Callus wouldn't be as powerful if he had certain items or didn't. So the party was making progress in making Callus less powerful, but they couldn't stop him from coming back until they actually faced him. And if they had screwed up, he would have been a lot more powerful when they tried to face him, probably would have won. So you want to avoid, in that question of how do you deal with foregone conclusions, I'm picking one particular type, which is sort of the quests of, do the 5 things. You don't want to make all 5 things required either way. You don't want the villain to be totally screwed if they don't get everything. And this one is a good example. Like, is Leto Skull totally screwed because he doesn't have the location of Metrol or he doesn't know where the Glass Plateau is, where he has to build a weapon? No, he'll find another way to get there. He's just going to fly into the Mournland and wander around for a while, and it might take him a long time to find it. But he's a smart guy. He'll figure it out. He'll find some other way to do it. And likewise, you don't want the characters to be totally screwed because, they don't have it either, right? So there, you kind of have multiple paths towards an issue, but you don't want them to be meaningless either. You don't want to you got to collect 3 things, but there's 50 things and all you need are 3. The Orem is very resourceful. Like the Orem might do it. I think he's going to probably break away from the Orem the minute he flies out of Sharn, though. I think his connection to the Orem is gone. But maybe he's got another group that he's been cultivating inside of the Mournland. Or maybe he's working with the Lord of Blades, right? Could be that he goes to the Lord of Blades and says, hey, he's been lying to everybody. Why would he lie to them too, right? He's a great villain. I'm enjoying my Leto Skal villain. So, so that's a trick. Yeah, I think I've talked about that enough. Yeah, I think you guys got my point. So Goldbright and the Night Sky. So location. Oh, so the streets, right? Sharn, Sky Docks. So the Sky Docks, and this one actually, should go up here because that's kind of the next when they got to go steal the Goldbright at the Sky Docks. And monsters, these are who's protecting the Goldbright. And I think the Goldbright is protecting by guards and veterans. Maybe a mage. So they have to figure out how to get past the Goldbright. There's probably not going to be a lot of fighting in this one. There's not a lot of villains. So then and there's still more Jackal. There's always Jackalwares. We never did throw Tarkanon Assassins. I'd probably Simon Simpson Tarkanon Assassins at the character. Do characters have anything the character? Yeah. So maybe Leto's still trying to get the dodecahedron and he sent some Tarkanon Assassins after the characters. That'd be pretty cool. I like them. If you haven't seen Tarkanon Assassins. I never use my other window these days, I realized. I should use that other window. Tarkanon Assassin. These guys are nasty. They're only CR2, and the characters are 7th level. So it'd take a whole lot. I think we're going to go with real assassins, right? We're going to make like powerful Tarkanon Assassins that are assassins, actual assassins, with spellcasting abilities. Because, oh, wow, CR8. Yeah, it's because of the damage. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. It's fine. We're cool. Oh, wrong area. Do good. Dink and link. And there we go. Gloves are off at level 7, boy. At 7, they're going to be doing tons of stuff. Throw 5 assassins at them. It's 1 round of spike damage. They'll be fine. Yeah, I think it's more. The assassinate is really bad, but they have the poison on their blades. You can take the poison away and add, put other things on there. Like I don't know that Tarkanon would use poison. I think they would be more likely to use spells. So you just give them, and the cool bit is because they are aberrant dragon marks, you give them whatever spell you want. Improved invisibility, fire shield. Put whatever you want on them. They're Tarkanon. You can give them any spells they have, right? And they all have different ones. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. So, they have the ability to kill someone in 1 round and then they're manageable. Yeah, their CR is very high given all of their abilities except for the fact that they can assassinate and they have poison damage on the assassinate and it's like 150 points of damage. I need badly, I don't know that Dyson has any. The funny thing about Dyson, he doesn't like drawing ships. He mentioned this. He said he has very few ship maps. And he has no airship maps. So I need to go to the raw Googles. I think there is a good Reddit forum for airships, but let's take a look here. So, oh yeah, there's a good one from That's kind of a cool one. I need multiple floors because it's like a heist. Oh, you know what I can do? I can steal the, well, except I think it's a wreck. But there's no reason I can't use the maps from Ghost of Saltmarsh, right? What's the difference? Who cares? That's a cool one. Do you see that one? Look at this thing. That is wild. Wow, $50. That's not very much. I'm not buying it, but that is awesome. Isn't that cool? Look at that thing. That is wild. Let us, if I was playing a home game again, I would totally buy that. But I'm not playing a home game, and I can just use maps online. We go to D&D Beyond. We go to Adventure Sources, Adventures, Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And I think they have, are all of the ship, I think they have a bunch of ship maps in here. Oh, bigger ship map. Not bad. Well, I think that's it for their ship maps. Is there one called the Emperor of the Waves? Is that the one from Salvage Operation? I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is from Salvage Operation. But this is not a bad one. I think we might use this one. This is a good one for a ship as dungeon, right? I actually used this one as a... I used this one for my other group in Eberron when they went to a ship, so I'm going to use it here. So that will be the deck of the what's it called? The night. Where is it? Come on, I know I have the night sky. So we'll go to night sky, and we'll paste. Can I embed the image? Does that work? Hey, look at that! It worked. Yeah, so like the Emperor Waves is from Salvage Operation, and it's a cool ship as dungeon. Lots of rooms to explore, lots of places to go. I think that will work out nicely. And in this case, the forecastle and the quarter deck will be internal to the ship. It's actually sealed up above. And I don't know what powers it. So then I only need one other map. And I think the map of the... Whoops. So I got that one. Let's look at the map for the other one. So let's go to the table of contents, and we go to Sinister Secret, the Sea Ghost. We use the map for the Sea Ghost. Reuse, man. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is kind of big for the Goldbright, though. I think the Goldbright is like a yacht, right? I mean, this is a big yacht, but it's pretty big. This is a big ship. So I think that maybe I'll use that, but let me look at I think there was another smaller ship, wasn't there? I want like a yacht. And these are all, I don't know that these will work. That's not so bad. We'll use this guy. Wow, that's a 4-decker. I don't think they got good maps of these. They don't have player versions. Oh, it's big enough. Okay, so we're going to grab that. And the Goldbright. That'll be the map of the Goldbright. Cool. All right. So I got some maps. Is there anything else? Oh my God, I got no time left. Let's just make sure I've got everything else. So I got my scenes. I got my secrets and clues. I don't know when and where. Oh, I know. So they'll be going after the Goldbright, and that's when the Tarkanon assassins will go. So I think like they'll have a fun, they'll have a fun, my armrest on my chair off. They'll have a fun, like, have to get past the guards to get on the ship, and bang, while they're getting guards, Tarkanon assassins attack. And that will be at the Sky Docks. That'll be on this map. So that they're getting to the docks here, and it'll be right around this area where the Tarkanon assassins are going to jack them up. That could be fun. And maybe like assassins and a mage. We're going to really go 7th level on them. So lots of nasty dudes are going to attack that are all House Tarkanon that Leto Skull hired. So that'll work well. Let me go back to my notes and just make sure. Let's see here. So I've got my scenes. I got my secrets. I still want to figure out the Sabers teacher. I'll figure that off screen. Monsters. I have guards and veterans. Oh yeah, the Tarkanon assassins. Mage. Who else is bad? Veterans. So assassins, mages, and veterans are probably a good. Don't forget the nukes. Yeah. Treasure. I think they're fine on treasure. I don't think I'm going to worry about treasure. And then I got my little scratch pad for running the game. So I've got everything I need. One little tidbit I'll do here is I go to my Avre and Discord commands and my Sunday initiative thing here and grab that. I think I tried this and it didn't work. I think even when I tried pasting it into code, I have to do is I have to like open up another. Yeah, it screws it up. So we'll try. Oh, weird. Whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. I think I tried that last time. It didn't work then either. So yeah, I feel like I've got everything I really need to run today's game. So I'm going to thank everybody for coming today. I always appreciate all the fine chat in Twitch. Thank you to the 50 people. 50 people came to watch today. That's awesome. Thank you all for coming and watching the show. I hope you enjoyed it. And next week, we will see how things went. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and get out there and play some D&D.